What could I say after it was done? What could I say to you, crouched in the lane, crying, as though the only thing you had to give away was gone now? There are no words. What could I say? You were smiling before, but passion chases even smiles away. And even when it's done, even afterward, lovers are as far apart as they were before. Nothing's ever settled by the act. You go to sleep in your own private little world, and I drift off to mine. Only the passion eased, only the moment filled. It's as though there was something way off beyond that nobody even knows about yet. I always need you most when we've quarreled. But think about the good times if you can. Don't walk in the rain anymore tonight.
Walking down a dirt track, rain beat down on my back, searching for a rest place, feel the wind in my face, look for a home, looking through Kent's eyes, look on my home, looking through Kent's eyes, don't want you around, dragging me down.
Suddenly, I cannot remember the color of your eyes, or the things we said as we stood together for the last time.
I can't. I mean, I gotta follow through with music. I gotta find out how far I can go.
You write music too?
Honey, I live music. Morning, noon, a whole night. Everything else is just icing on the cake, you dig?
Test. Hello, welcome to another Higgizus broadcast. And here we are yet again looking at this piece of paper. But yesterday we got like the form down. I'll probably add some tiny stuff as I keep going, but now it's mostly a mission of adding a little more depth to this piece here. So let's get to it, yeah? Where to begin? I guess I've mostly been concentrating here so far, so why not stay there? You know, most of this piece I've been using a brush, but I think to really smooth it out, switching to the fine liners or the tech pens.
There are no old images I have to live up to. No old promises I have to keep. Nobody expects anything of me. I can disappoint no one.
The lover blows, she's good and bad. Mess around and you've been had. Got a key and a nasty switch. She's my witch. She's my witch.
semi-darkened room. Stand naked beside a circle of brown, dry seahorse. Light a whole candle. Slowly, unrhythmically, sway to the side. This ritual is a traditional part of witchcraft and must be performed regularly Tuesdays or Fridays for 3 months, once each year. It never fails. Sicilian members of the Black Hand cult believe that a few drops of your own blood mixed with that of your lover's food or drink will bind the two of you through eternity. It can be devastating to capture your lover in this way. It's a primitive charm of blood. We are whirling through space, drifting toward eternity. Mystical sparks encircled by loneliness. Are you afraid? One of the reasons witchcraft has survived through the ages is because it ends need to caress destiny and subdue the fear within. Witchcraft attempts to deceive, cajole, and otherwise disturb natural inclination and courtesy. postcard candle. Offer this flame and dedicate this spell as a comfort for lost souls. Do this for 11 days. The charm will then be ready to carry close to your heart. Bury the candle in a garden by the light of the full moon. Then take the rosebuds, rosemary, cloves, and thyme, and throw them into the wind.
I'm very much afraid it was all in your mind. If you haven't been murdered, I can only say better luck next time.
With the
You speak to me and then my poor heart of love. You call my name and then I melt like butter. You really got me well trained. I'll make your puppet on a string.
just another effect. It's not considered necessary for the lover to notice spells being cast. Beware.
True love can be eternal as the mountains, the moon, and the sea. So I'll wait for your love, wait for your love. There's no other love for me.
I wait, anticipating nothing, watching seasons come and go, not pretending anymore or daring to imagine. I wait.
So I'll wait for your love, wait for your love. There's no other love for me.
When I first came to LA, I lived in a hotel on the beach. I stayed there for about a year. Then I wanted my own place. Finally, I found a 4-room bungalow with a deck in the back and a patch of lawn in a middle-class neighborhood of modest 1-story homes. The rent was high, $1,500 a month, but I'd lived in apartments and hotel rooms all my adult life, and I was looking forward to having my own house with some real privacy. No one noisily pacing the floor above me. No music or TV blasting through the walls of adjacent rooms. No one practicing scales on the piano in the apartment below. My house would be a perfect place to write a novel. I'd received half of the publisher's advance, most of which had gone to pay the security deposit and the first and last month's rent. I was a little anxious about the money, but felt that once I submitted the completed work, I'd receive the balance due as well as royalties, and that would carry me forward. And besides, what was money for anyway? To put in a bank while you lived in miserable circumstances? So I moved in feeling hopeful, looking forward to life in my new home. The woman who lived next door was very nice. She came over and introduced herself, welcomed me to the neighborhood, and offered to help in any way she could. She was apparently separated or divorced from her husband. She had a number of cats and a German shepherd named Prince. For the first 2 months I lived there and worked on my book, the only bothersome noise was that occasionally, when the mailman dropped off letters or someone walked by in the alley behind the houses or someone else left a leaflet advertising a supermarket sale, the dog would bark furiously for about a minute. He had a loud, piercing, barking style, which was a little unnerving, particularly when he was standing in the space between our houses, right under my window. Then, early one morning, I'll never forget it, his barking woke me from a deep sleep, and the barking continued all day long. After listening for a few hours, quite upset by my inability to accomplish anything, to work at all, I went next door to see what was going on. But my neighbor was not at home, which was unusual because up until then, she'd been there every day. I looked to see if there were any intruders or any strangers around, any people in the street or in the alley, but there was no one. There didn't seem to be any reason for Prince to be barking, and his barking had a different quality from his usual style. He'd bark, then whine and howl plaintively. I wondered how he could keep it up without losing his voice. I kept on thinking, he can't go on much longer because it must be a strain. Eventually he'll get hoarse from all this barking. He'll have to quit. But it didn't happen. When my neighbor came home that evening, the dog immediately stopped barking. I didn't say anything because I figured it was just one day she'd been away, and tomorrow everything would be back to normal. But the next morning, shortly after 7 a.m., the dog began barking again. I was startled by his ferocity and felt a growing sense of rage as I realized that what had happened yesterday was going to happen again today. All day. Again, there was no one out front, no one in the alley, no reason for the dog's tirade, except that my neighbor had gone away. The dog was apparently unused to being left alone and was upset and anxious and was engaging in a kind of tantrum. When I came over to the chain-link fence that adjoined our property, I tried to calm him down. I said, "Hi, Prince. How are you doing? You're really upset today because you've been left all alone. Am I right? Yeah, it's tough being by yourself. I know all about it. That's how I live, too. You just have to get used to it, you know? You have to figure, well, I'm going to be alone today, and that's the way it's going to be, and there's nothing I can do about it. And you just shrug your shoulders and accept it and lie down in a nice shady spot and take a nap. You've got to roll with the punches, Prince. You know what I mean? Come on, fella, take it easy. She'll be home later and everything will be fine." And as long as I stood by the fence and talked to Prince, he wagged his tail and looked at me forlornly. But when I walked back into my house, he began barking again, loud, angry, ferocious salvos in every direction, mixed with pathetic whining and moaning and howling. And that's when I knew I had a real problem on my hands. But when my neighbor came home that evening, I still couldn't bring myself to go over and say anything about the barking. I thought, "You miserable coward, how long will you wait? You've just lost 2 days' work over this." but I decided to give it one more day, just to make sure, because I didn't want to be unfair, to overreact, to behave like a shrill, overly sensitive and overbearing neighbor. I didn't want to upset her. I didn't want things to get ugly. Give it one more day, I said to myself, just one more day. If the barking continues tomorrow, you'll talk to her about it. And having decided on a plan, knowing if the dog continued barking the following day, I'd do something about it, I went to bed that night hoping that perhaps the 2 days of barking had been an aberration, a lapse in the peaceful and serene life that I'd just begun to grow accustomed to. But the next morning, shortly after 7, when my neighbor left the house, the dog began barking again. I felt desperate. I thought, oh my God, I spent all this money to rent this place, to move my furniture from the East Coast, and now my ability to work, my peace of mind, my very sanity are under attack. I knew that I would have to go over that evening and discuss the problem with my neighbor. But I was also aware of the fact that I'd moved into her neighborhood, that I was merely a renter while she was an owner, that I'd been there for only a few months while she'd lived there for years, that I was the outsider. Now I had the unpleasant task of having to walk over to her house, face her, and complain about her dog. So I called her that evening on the phone and asked if I could come over and talk with her for a few minutes. She said she was on her way out. Could it wait until tomorrow evening? I said, sure. And so I went through yet another day of relentless barking and accomplished nothing on my book. And by that evening, I was a wreck. My nerves jangled, feeling a shrill sense of hysteria, as if I'd been subjected to prolonged and deliberate torture. She invited me in. We made small talk for a few minutes, and then I told her I was a writer working on a difficult book. My first few months here had been wonderful. She'd made me feel welcomed in the neighborhood. Everything had been going well until this past Monday, when her dog's barking had begun. And the barking was completely unnerving, because it never stopped, and that I'd been unable to work, no less think, since it had started. I put off coming here for 3 days because I didn't want to act too quickly, because I wanted to give this thing a chance to see what would happen, to see if your dog would get used to your being away. But now that I've been through 4 continuous days of barking, I realize the situation is impossible. My peace of mind has been completely shattered. She listened, nodding as I spoke. But when I was finished, she said firmly that she was sorry I was so affected by the dog's barking. She'd just begun a new job this week as a therapist at a clinic, which was the reason she'd been away. A therapist for victims of physical abuse or violent crime, a job which she liked very much. It was very important work. And the dog was trained to bark. It was a guard dog. It served to let anyone know that her house was protected. She was glad she had the dog. It was a matter of security. Did I realize that virtually every house in the neighborhood had been robbed, with the exception of hers, because of Prince? Why, the very house I lived in, she confided, had been robbed a few weeks before the previous tenants had moved out. So you see, I'm glad Prince barks, she said, because he discourages anyone from even thinking about breaking in. He's a deterrent to crime. But there was no one around, I said. No one out front or in the back. I checked. There was no reason for him to bark. I think he was just lonely because you were away. He was whining and howling. The dog's just upset. That's why he doesn't let up all day long. I'm sorry. I can't help you, she said. I can't do anything about this. Besides, what do you want me to do? I don't know, I said. Maybe you can take him to a trainer to quiet him down. I'm not going to do that, she said. I want him to bark. That's why my house hasn't been robbed. But what about me? I can accept a dog barking when someone approaches your property. I can accept that. But Prince barks all day without provocation because he's upset at being left alone. I'm sorry, she said. The point of his barking is to protect my house. Besides, how do you know he's not barking about something real? Maybe by the time you come out and look, whoever it is gone. Just how do you know there was no one there? Because the dog barks all day long. I think you're exaggerating. No one else has said a thing about it. Well, maybe I'm the only one home all day to hear it. This is a neighborhood, she said. We try to live together. Bill and Todd across the street have loud parties on the weekends, and we all put up with it unless it gets out of control. I can't change my lifestyle to accommodate you. Maybe you should find another place to live in. I don't know what to tell you. I walked back to my house, defeated. Now what was I going to do? Although I felt sympathy for Prince, his barking cut so deeply into my nerves, raised my blood pressure to such a degree, and caused my heart to misfire and sputter and go into such troubling spasms that I wondered if I would survive the experience. I felt viscerally under attack, under siege. So I imagined purchasing a rifle and shooting the dog. Of course, I didn't want to get caught, so I tried to figure out a way to buy a gun without registering it in my name. Was there a state in America where you could just walk into a store and buy a gun the way you might any product? If one existed, then I'd drive there, buy a gun, and drive back. Then I'd shoot the dog from the alley and ditch the rifle somewhere in the Santa Monica Mountains. But how could I make sure not to be seen? The sound of a shot would resound through the neighborhood. People would look up and out of their windows. And what if someone saw me? It was too risky. And then I thought of buying rat poison in some distant part of the city where I wouldn't be known or recognized, mixing it into ground meat and tossing it over the fence to the dog. I imagined Prince coming over, eating the meal, going into convulsions, and dying in the yard. I imagined my neighbor coming to my door the following day to accuse me of murdering her dog. "I know you did it," she'd say, her face a mask of rage. "You miserable, vicious bastard." And I'd say, "I'm sorry. I had nothing to do with it. Maybe it was someone else who was upset by the barking. Maybe it was just some sick animal hater. There are a lot of crazy people out there, homeless people who've been let out of mental hospitals. They sometimes sleep back there in the alley. Maybe one of them did it. I liked Prince. He was a good dog. In fact, I felt sorry for him. He was just lonely." But of course, I didn't do anything. I could never really have killed Prince. And as the barking continued day after day, I imagined going to my neighbor's house, throwing myself down on my knees before her, tears streaming down my cheeks, and begging her, "Please, for the love of God and the spirit of compassion, do something, anything to quiet Prince down. It's like having pneumatic drills in my ears, like an insane shrieking in my head which never ends. Look, I might be high-strung, but even a normal person couldn't stand it. In fact, a normal person would have complained at the end of the first day. A normal person wouldn't have waited 3 days as I did because I didn't want to make trouble. A normal person would have come over here immediately and shot you and your damn dog, and putting the barrel of his rifle in his mouth would have blown off the back of his head. But I waited 3 and then 4 ear-splitting, nerve-wracking, unremittingly hellish days of a living nightmare to come over here and tell you how I feel, and I still feel somehow guilty about it, as if I'm in the wrong somehow, as if I have no call to be here, to say what I'm saying, as if I'm violating your space, when in fact your dog's horrific barking has been violating my space."
I must transform an injustice into an absurdity as a way of rethinking a situation. It's hard to get angry and laugh at the same time. I must add an ounce of love to everything I do. I must have a forgiving view of events and people. I must have an optimistic view of the world. I must believe that most people are doing the best that they can. Instead of blowing up when someone says something unkind, I should take a moment to rethink the situation. If I can tell my bad day, I mean, we all have our bad days, then there's a good chance I won't get angry. I must understand that a conflict is not a win-lose situation.
Cameraing?
It's not important who wins or who's right. The goal is to solve a mutual problem through good communication. I must not expect to be treated with fairness and consideration at all times. I must take a few minutes to relax my whole body. I'll shake my shoulders, inhale and exhale deeply a few times, and clear my head of thoughts and concerns.
There we go.
I know what I'll do. The next time I find pressure mounting, I'll take 10 minutes and go for a brisk walk or climb some stairs. Then, when I return to the problem, I'll feel like a new person.
What is death? If I put the barrel of a gun against my forehead and pull the trigger, what will happen? Where will I go? I wonder if expressions we have come casually to use when referring to death actually reflect reality. For example, the term bought the farm. Could it be that when I die, I will actually come into possession of a farm I've purchased with my own money? Is it possible? I bought the farm. I have acres of rolling meadows dotted with clover where sheep and cattle graze. Fields of wheat heavy with grain appear like a great amber ocean, undulating in the wind. I move into a white clapboard house with a shingled roof. The green shuttered windows have parted chintz curtains. Beside the house is a great ancient oak tree, its roots gnarled and twisted. From one of its thick old branches, hanging by a braided rope, is a rubber tire, in which many a delighted child is swung up to the sky.
The question.
Paisley print, and there's a hooked rug on the oak plank floor. The fireplace mantel
are
bears
all
a set of
ball
family
lovers.
photographs, old daguerreotypes and oval cameo frames. Next to the fireplace are a pair of tongs, a set of bellows, a fire prod, and a pile of neatly split logs. On the second floor of the bedroom, there's an old four-poster bed, the cover a patch.
Darkest has appeared.
Down. Next to
Darkest
with an evening
has appeared.
and a single candlestick.
We are all ball
In the hall
lovers.
at the top of the stairs, there's a trap door in the ceiling. When I pull the string that dangles from it, a ladder comes down, leading me up to the musty attic.
That's the only one at the moment. It's gonna be
Window.
a random darkest quote generator.
Old letters held together with faded ribbons, and a card
But
table.
right now it's just the ball lovers.
Dining room downstairs. Farm hands sit at a long trestle table, drinking cups of steaming coffee with double thick cream, eating a big
What's up with you?
side and
Yeah.
bacon, sizzling
What's
juicy
up
sausages,
with
pork
you?
chops, corned beef hash, sourdough biscuits, hush puppies, and cornbread, a great bubbling warm jug of maple syrup next to a pile of pancakes browned at the edges, fragrant thick slices of French toast sprinkled with cinnamon and sugar, bowls of oatmeal and farina topped with cream, melted butter and molasses, vials of insulin, Dilantin, and small bottles of oxygen being administered by paramedics to farm workers as they deliriously push themselves away from the table and stagger toward the door, each blood-thinning agent, anticoagulant, seizure control medication being injected by a hypodermic needle. The farm hands in red
Painful butt from sitting a lot.
sluice out the pigsties, repair the fences, seed
Nice.
the corn, and milk the cows who move leisurely among the clover, gather around the salt cowlick, their voices and the gentle tinkling of the bells around their necks heard at a great distance.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Bram.
Leisurely line of cows, their tails swinging, makes its way
I think
heavily
probably through you, I would guess.
the bulls to stomp irritably
But
into
nice, 2 skateboards,
barns, a
sweet,
huge
sweet.
two-story wood frame structure. There's a wooden ladder some of the rungs missing, leading up to the loft where a pitchfork can be seen embedded in one of the many wire-bound bales of alfalfa and hay.
All these Dutch artists.
Fragrant. The sun shines through and
taking our Twitch gerbs.
warm pools of light on the floor. I can see chemical fertilizers grow swift.
Dutchies coming in, taking it. Gerb.
The pigsty nearby is a penned-in muddy area about 20 feet by 30 feet.
Got the theme and design. Nice. Very nice. Or, well, how to design it. Nice.
The farmhands live nearby in small single-story dirt floor shacks with 2 sets of double bunk beds and an old Franklin stove. The hoedown, or hootenanny, is a celebration that takes place in the barn.
Sounds
where one of the
good.
elders, holding a jug of corn liquor in one hand, calls the square dance. The farmhands wear blue overalls and checked shirts with
I always
bandanas
assume
around
I
their
would
necks.
just
The
be
girls
bad
are
at
given dresses
collabs.
like stockings, high-button shoes, some in bonnets, others with cloth tied around their hair. They dance the Virginia
But
reel
who knows?
exuberantly on the floor of the barn. And so, there I am. I've bought the farm, and it all seems so idyllic. A heavenly reward. The only
Take a while before you have things to work on since
money from the
life
back
is
for seed,
happening as well.
livestock, and machinery.
Yes, yes.
And now
That is the
thousands of dollars to the First National
age-old story.
Trust exceed my income. I'm borrowing from
Life.
friends and church members. Finally, I put on a yard sale in which I sold
That pesky,
heirlooms to
pesky
strangers. The ancient
life.
armoire brought from the old country on the back of my grandfather, sepia-tinted
Ruining everything.
long dead ancestors.
Life.
Crystal chandelier from the entrance hallway. And unable to make my mortgage payments, I am facing foreclosure. My entire farm is about to be raised for a new shopping mall. My family, having barricaded itself, having pushed furniture up against the doors, boarded the windows from the inside, awaits the sheriff. He arrives saying, "I'm sorry, I hate to have to be the one to do this," and hammers a writ of foreclosure on the door. I come out and stand on the front porch with a shotgun in my hands, an old double-barreled rusted-out Remington with a rotten wooden stock. I'm still wearing my long johns.
Fun,
Standing
fun.
behind the sheriff.
Doctors and
He's taking his
hospitals.
hard hat off, and his long hair in a ponytail hangs down his
Who
back.
doesn't love going to doctors and hospitals?
Looking over my shoulder, distractedly taking the dimensions
So
of my
much
house,
fun.
and eyeing my mother, who's huddled behind me.
Usually for very fun reasons.
If you need a few minutes to get your stuff together, go right ahead. But by noon, I've got to have this thing. He gestures at my house. Out of the way. So put that gun down. Not gonna do you any good. This,
Ah, you went with the 999.
no matter what you say or do, it's like shouting against the fall of night. Forget it. Give in. It'll be a nice mall. Maybe your mother would like a job. There are some sales positions open at Laura Ashley. Behind the foreman is a 3-story tall bulldozer, a huge home-wrecking ball suspended. Behind that, a set of road grading machinery, cement mixers, flatbed trucks with construction crews and hard hats, with riveting machinery and walkie-talkies. And 3 deputies with sledgehammers and a battering ram bash their way through my barricaded front door. Then the heavy machinery comes through and levels the house and the barn. And my entire farm is overrun in a matter of an hour and a half. And within a week, a new shopping mall has been built. A huge 2-story atrium-centered gleaming marble and stainless steel structure with huge vaulted archways, waterfalls, and interior gardens, a giant clear glass dome over the top. A small jazz combo plays at one end, and a string quartet at the other. A man in cutaway and tails, white tie and spats sits at a piano on the second level, near where a miniature railroad train takes children squealing and laughing around a small circuit, while shoppers ride scenic elevators that move on vertical monorails. And having been dispossessed, and having lost my farm, I find myself driving to California in a 1932 pickup truck, because I've learned that California is the land of golden opportunity, a Garden of Eden, a paradise where I can get a job picking oranges. But I am somewhat incredulous and perturbed by the fact that I thought I had bought the farm. And now I've lost the farm. And I don't know if I'm living or dead.
This is a guy called Joe Frank. One of the most boring names possible. Joe Frank. He's just well, he's dead now, but he would just do weird, crazy, he's like a writer, author person, but he would do this radio show every week that was like an hour long. Who even knows what? Stuff like this. Him reading stories, him random things being interjected. You are insane.
You are insane.
I hate standing in a long line in the supermarket and some jackass at the checkout counter pulls a checkbook because most of these clowns are women. And what's their problem? These people who are so selfish they're willing to hold all of us up because it's just more convenient for them. And these women who write out checks in supermarkets usually
You speak a proper language now.
before they can even find their checkbook. And when they do, they're rarely considerate enough to write out the name of the market and sign at the bottom of the check.
I don't think I have a no, though. Only yes.
So while everyone waits,
You just have to say yes to
has to copy
everything.
down their driver's license number
Oh no!
I guess we have that no.
until finally they walk out with their bag of groceries. And while I wait behind one of these women from hell, I suddenly
Hasanabi.
explode and scream,
The Hasanabi broadcast.
"Do you realize there are 5 people waiting behind you? Does it even matter to you?" Then, of course, there's the post office. Have you visited the post office lately, by any chance? Have you stood in one of those long, long lines, or taken a ticket with a number and waited the remainder of the day for your number to be called? I've seen people's hair turn gray in post offices. I've seen them grow completely bald. I've seen crow's feet form in the corners of young people's eyes, and wrinkles appear on their faces as they age while standing on interminable lines, while 2 sluggish postal clerks service the assembled crowd. Yes, these postal clerks enjoy lifetime security. They don't have to work hard to try to service customers quickly and efficiently. They can just bumble along at their pace. Sometimes you'll see one of them leave his or her window and walk into the back of the post office and maybe be gone for 5 minutes before reappearing, while the waiting crowd grows steadily in numbers. And in those situations, I imagine calling out to all the poor fools standing in line with me, "Why do you stand for this wretched service? Why do you skulk here like a flock of sheep? Why do you let them get away with this? What's the matter with you? Aren't you infuriated by this treatment, this utter contempt?" I can't even enjoy watching football games anymore. What with the new breed of gloating, self-aggrandizing athletes, the halfback who spikes the ball into the end zone, raises both his arms to the roaring crowd with supreme arrogance, the way Mussolini did from his balcony, and performs a victory dance. It's not the way players were in the old days. Oh, these new players are talented athletes, no doubt about it, but they've added unseemly, ugly elements to the sport they participate in. And these professional athletes who pout, who go into terrible, angry snits when earning only a few $1 million a year, still feel they're vastly underpaid. They want even more money because their lives are so hard. It's really tough to be a star athlete, to be
I know on YouTube you can adjust the playback speed, but I wish they would let you
thousands of extra dollars.
change the playback speed without preserving the pitch.
Play for the sheer pleasure of it at their own expense during the
So
weekend.
if you make it go slower,
Angrily demand more money than
voice
the
just
United States, the
goes
Secretary of
deep
State,
like
and the
this.
CEOs of most major American corporations, then Nobel laureates, great writers, poets, philosophers, scientists earn. These miserable
But these Google jackwagons won't let you do it.
in any meaningful way the society in which they are glorified, who cause ticket prices to soar so that you and I can't afford to go see games live anymore, who make it necessary for there to be
It's even easier to do
course of a contest in order
than
to
to preserve the pitch.
salaries by encouraging you to consume every damn thing. What about these teenage dance shows? You see them on MTV and a lot of other channels. The ones where kids between the ages of 15 and 18, dressed in the most provocative outfits, girls wearing halters showing their
Man, oh man, oh man, if I did the right curse, cause this man looked to completely lost it. First he plays weird music, and now he plays man's talking weird stories. Maybe I should break this curse. In the hope I can still save this man called Heggyzias.
Heggyzias.
And worthless. I mean, what's the point of freedom if you
Heggyzias.
havoc with your genuine human values?
There are a lot new Heggyziases. I think they're mostly you, though. Oh, what? Do I have that one set to just a global timeout? That would be ridiculous.
I must
Ah, it was.
an injustice into
Alright, it's per person now.
as a way of rethinking a situation.
Heggyzias.
It's hard to
Heggyzias.
PG. Heggyzias? Heggyzias?
Heggyzias? Heggyzias.
Heggyzias.
Ah, there it was. There was one.
I must have an optimistic view of the world. I must believe that most people are doing the best that they can.
Heggyzias.
Instead of
Ah, Minecraft tree.
something unkind, I should take a moment.
There's definitely you saying Hegi a few times in there.
The person is probably having a bad day. I mean, we all have our bad days. Michael Jackson!
It'd be hard to find though, since I think there's about 60 instances of Heggyzias in there.
It's not a win-lose situation. It's not important who wins or who's right.
Heggyzias?
Goal is to solve a mutual problem
Babe Ross.
through good communication. I must not accept it with fairness and consideration.
Also Babe Ross.
Time. I must take a few minutes to relax my whole body. I'll shake my shoulders, inhale and exhale deeply a few times, and clear my head of thoughts and concerns.
Nah.
I know what I'll do. The next time I find pressure mounting, I'll take 10 minutes and go for
What in the heck?
walk or climb some stairs.
That was you, Darkest.
To the problem
That was all you.
like a new person.
You know that if I'm in the chat and you say Heggyzias, you will be
Heggyzias?
assimilated. You will be assimilated into the Soundbite Collective.
Fuck you!
Buy the farm. Then what will happen when I blow my brains out? Another expression for death is the term gone fishing. Could it be that this image, this
I want to speak to
a grown-up.
my true
I'm
destiny,
definitely not drawing in the frame right now.
and I've gone fishing.
All grown-ups are pirates, Darkest.
An old straw hat on my head,
And you know what we do with pirates.
extended over a tranquil lake. 2 or 3 inches of bilge water left at my feet.
We kill pirates.
Green paint has long since flaked and chalked off the gunnels of the boat. I've got a cheese sandwich. Half listening to the water lapping against the side of the boat in an almost wound-like rhythm.
Yes.
It's late afternoon. Autumn. The leaves are changing. and I'm smoking a corncob pipe with fragrant tobacco wafting heavenward.
Jesus.
Blowing through the branches, fanning the embers of my pipe, causing flaming motes to detach themselves from the bowl.
I like that you just spamming Hejesius over this like music with talking happening. It makes it reminds me of, you know, some weird radio show where it's like they're just constantly interjecting with the name of the show or the broadcast. This is BBC Radio 1 Essential Mix. Essential.
A moment later, I see a thread of smoke coming from the woods.
By myself! All by myself!
Leaf, and when it reaches the edges, the
Macho Man Randy Savage.
And then another leaf catches fire, and the tip of a branch, and another branch, and a single tree. And soon the woods are engulfed in flames like a great furnace, a roaring inferno. And I'm thinking, wait a second, I've gone fishing forever. This is not what I bargained for. And the next thing that happens is that I can hear the shrieking sirens of fire engines, then the rhythmic beating of helicopters, and see them overhead spraying foam over the forest. And then I hear the sounds of earth-moving machinery as crews advance through the woods, cutting roads, knocking down trees, and digging fire trenches, radios crackling with orders.
What's this thing looking like? Okay.
And I'm discovered, hanging onto the side of the boat, the pipe still in my mouth. And they put two and two together and realize that I am the author of this terrible...
Ever so slowly, it's becoming slightly more HD.
Removed from the water, handcuffed.
This area right here,
Police cruiser.
got more crisp edges.
With the local DA, a young
Slightly more depth.
breath, interviews me at length. She's just come out of her
Over here,
an Italian
looking
restaurant
flat.
across the street from the jail. And she tells me that hundreds
Flat.
of schools and a hospital have been destroyed, and that there are many burned and dead. An entire community has been wiped out. The economy of the state has been threatened, and a number of endangered species have been rendered extinct. And a huge crowd forms outside the jail. I can hear frenzied, angry voices, and I think, but I've gone fishing. How can this be? I'm a dead person. I went fishing. I was supposed to be in repose for eternity. And then I hear some rabble-rouser making a speech, his hoarse shrieks emanating from a bullhorn. The crowd cheers as someone throws a noose over a lamppost on the corner. And the sheriff comes in. He looks nervous. He's gray, pale, trembling. He says, "We're gonna have to try to sneak you out of here tonight." And I say, "But I'm dead." And he says, "If you think you're dead now, just wait. You don't know what dead is." How many of you have walked into the bathroom of a restaurant, a movie theater, an airport, or even the place where you work, opened the stall, and found the rim of the bowl splattered with urine, or the toilet left unflushed and befouled? How many of you have stood there revolted, turned your back, and gone to another stall? Or worse yet, no other stall available, have had to clean up the mess in order to do your business? You know, as far as their emissions are concerned, some people are illiterate. They're just animals masquerading as humans. And you never know who polluted the area either. They're never there.
Filthy humans.
You could call out and say, "Come back here. How dare you leave this place in this condition? What kind of a person are you? Do you do this in your own home? If you do, you're even a bigger pig than I thought you were." Sometimes I like to imagine forming a hit squad. We'd station ourselves in restrooms and grab people who left unseemly, disgusting messes. Then we'd line them up against bathroom walls, execution style. And they'd think, well, I'll die, but it will soon be over. But instead of death, someone would come over to them with a bucket of human waste and dump it on their heads. And then we'd all march out. We'd call ourselves the Sanitation Corps. We'd be dressed in white. We'd wear gas masks. We'd be like subway cop versions of those germ warfare and anti-radiation people, scaled down for a restroom. And how often do you go to a movie theater anywhere in America and your feet stick to the floor, and when the lights come on at the end of the film, All you can see is litter. Giant buckets of popcorn spilled out over the chairs and the floors. Bottles, cans, candy wrappers, straws, napkins, cellophane, cardboard, little pools of soda, and wrappers from things people brought in from McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken. And it's like the floor of a zoo. It's as if everybody there is an animal after feeding time. And then there are the people who stand outside 7-Elevens, supermarkets, and banks and hit you up for money. What do you do about them? First, they impose on all of us a complex of emotions: anger, guilt, and fear. There's certainly something threatening and aggressive about many of these people, so that the line between begging and mugging has almost disappeared. They give you a story, something happened, they need the money, but there's an edge to their voices, an angry, disturbed edge that suggests that if you don't give them something, something bad might happen to you too. They might kill you. Yes, the world isn't safe anymore.
I must transform an injustice into an absurdity as a way of rethinking a situation. It's hard to get angry and laugh at the same time. I must add an ounce of love to everything I do. I must have a forgiving view of events and people. I must have an optimistic view of the world. I must believe that most people are doing the best that they can. Instead of blowing up when someone says something unkind, I should take a moment to rethink the situation. If I can tell myself that the person is probably having a bad day, I mean, we all have our bad days, then there's a good chance I won't get angry. I must understand that a conflict is not a win-lose situation. It's not important who wins or who's right. The goal is to solve a mutual problem through good communication. I must not expect to be treated with fairness and consideration at all times. I must take a few minutes to relax my whole body. I'll shake my shoulders, inhale and exhale deeply a few times, and clear my head of thoughts and concerns. I know what I'll do. The next time I find pressure mounting, I'll take 10 minutes and go for a brisk walk or climb some stairs. Then, when I return to the problem, I'll feel like a new person.
Placing the barrel of my revolver against my temple, I wonder what death will bring to me. Will it just be nothingness? Some people say that when you die, you go to the Hotel Paradise. Yes, the Hotel Paradise. Maybe that's the true nature of our heavenly reward.
Easiest.
Imagine golden beaches bathed in the welcoming warmth.
Yes.
Natives kind and friendly, bubbling with good humor, always strumming their ukuleles, composing extemporaneous songs for the delight of their guests. Here, freely given is the kind, open human warmth so rare. Late-night bonfires illuminate happy-faced guests writhing and wriggling to tropical rhythms. Young and old included celebrate with food, drink, music, and camaraderie. The hotel itself is a palace of pleasure, the rooms fitted with huge four-poster beds, great rattan chests bearing fragrant soaps and powders, and lazy ceiling fans turning in.
Oh, was that not it?
The swimming pool, a vast white and blue.
I don't even know my own commands.
Clean. Attendants with drinks, towels, books, and daily newspapers move amongst the guests.
Ah, right.
Championship golf course, a replica of St. Andrews.
With arms wide open.
Four-time PGA champion Chuck Shippen. The grass is carefully manicured into a carpet-like expanse. The sand and water traps are architecturally perfect.
Actually, if this like dubsteppy garage beat,
the tennis courts
just every now and then
are drawn from the
had like a low pass filter with a little bit of a delay.
Chalked and swept on an Lukash and Sleepy Steinwalker
would go perfectly.
Tennis lessons. And I can play late into the night because tennis is a 24-hour affair. The courts floodlit by sodium vapor lamps so that the sun never sets on this sporting field. And polo is available to those from Aspen, Palm Beach, Oxbridge, Kensington-on-Tyne, and Hamilton, Bermuda. I can see ponies, their tails bobbed and manes combed into spikes, bearing horsemen wearing jodhpurs, striped shirts, Rolex watches on left wrists, and Ralph Lauren rough-wear footgear, swinging mallets. There's a small area where lawn chairs have been set up, next to a pavilion from which champagne, caviar, and cucumber sandwiches are dispensed. And there, women in wide-brimmed hats and men in flannel suits observe with amusement the proceedings of the day's sporting event. Eternal life at the Hotel Paradise is exquisite, elegant, serene. And then, one day, I go down to the swimming pool, and the water is brackish. A slick of green algae covers the surface of the pool, and there seems to be a blood spot near the diving board. I note that the golf course, which used to be immaculately maintained, is overgrown with weeds, mangled by half-track vehicle ruts. The clubhouse, fallen into disrepair, now serves fast food. The tennis courts haven't been rolled. As a matter of fact, they're being used as an industrial dump site and reek of toxic chemicals. And the dining room in the hotel looks as if it's been hit by a tornado. Tables are overturned, chairs smashed, cutlery thrown at odd angles onto the floor, food being served from troughs, ladled with huge wooden spatulas directly onto the tabletops. I see my waiter, his satin cummerbund wilted, wearing a 2 days' growth of beard, drinking from a liquor bottle. I return to my room and find that the toilet is backed up with human sewage. My socks have come back shredded. The bed has been left unmade. There are crumbs on the sheets, and room service fails to answer the phone. I step out into the hallway and find it filled with muggers, grifters, roving gangs of hoodlums smashing shop windows in the mezzanine with 35-pound chains. Boutiques have been looted, some burned out, others simply vandalized, their mannequins garishly defaced. Knifings, rapes, and beatings take place in corridors echoing with music from ghetto blasters. The members of the hotel string quartet, who used to play in the lobby in the late afternoon, have been garroted and stapled to the wall with huge metal rivets. The harpist has been forced through the strings of his instrument and lies in slices on the floor. And the hotel security staff, not wanting to risk injury by putting themselves between guests and harm's way, flatten themselves against walls and hide behind the metal doors of the hotel security office. Some, affecting crutches and disguises, attempt to sneak off the hotel grounds. And there's also a guerrilla insurgency, raining shells on the hotel from nearby mountains. In the town, tourists are shot down in the street at random. Doctors from the International Aid Mission, religious workers, and school teachers are being abducted and gratuitously murdered, hanged upside down from trees and lampposts. And the local population that remains loyal to the government is being dragged from their homes, lined up, and summarily executed. And I'm thinking, wait a second, I'm dead. I'm at the Hotel Paradise. What's going on here? And I go to the airport to try to catch a plane off the island. But the guerrillas have taken it over, so there's no way of getting a commercial flight. Then I rush down to the harbor, only to see ships bombed and sunk in their place, the harbor mined, and beyond the perimeter, men in speedboats race in crazy zigzag patterns, brandishing heavy machine guns and firing recoilless rifles into the air. There is widespread looting, murder, complete anarchy. I hide under the burnt-out wreck of a tractor-trailer overturned on the highway. And I'm thinking, I'm dead. This is not what I had in mind. My island paradise has turned into a nightmare. Death is the dancing mirage at the bottom of the driveway. The irredeemable coupon. The final handshake. The least welcome visitor. The cruelest joke of all. Death can be fastidious, or sloppy, prissy, or a mess. Death can sneak up on you, or reserve its place in advance. Death is forever, a great consolation, and a consolation prize. Death is the last thing you'll ever do. Death is nothing. Tangible negativity, immersion in emptiness. Death has no color, no sound, no substance, no mass, no hairstyle. Death is the pinhole in the space station, a hairline fracture in a rotor blade, a flat tire on a rain-swept highway. Death is the hand that reaches up out of the toilet and grabs you by your large intestine. Death makes you stop and think, makes you wonder, makes you less attractive, makes you a member of an ever-growing majority, a member of the silent majority. Death shortens the pleasure principle and sings an endless song in rounds. Death is an old pair of driving goggles lying cracked along Route 9 in Huntley, New Jersey. Death dreams of slow-motion embryonic passageways, of frustrated spermatozoa, of hot chocolate served by a bony arm. Death dreams of the unblinking eye, of the tainted goat, of a giant amusement park, Shadowland, the final place of pandemonium. Death has the face of a friendly scoutmaster, of a furiously betrayed child, of the rejected lover. Death can have the ecstatic expression of the religious zealot. Death is a foreign-born cab driver spouting a flow of incomprehensible curses and venom, leaning on his horn, stomping on his accelerator, weaving wildly through city traffic. Death is a tall, willowy woman standing under a street lamp, a cigarette dangling from her ruby lips, wearing a beret, a short dress, stiletto heels, the seam of her stocking slightly askew, smiling. And yet there's something about her eyes, a crusty yellow scum. Death can stand shrieking below your window. It can hammer at the door frame, kick at the outer guardway, and lean on your doorbell. Death asks for the check before you've finished eating, asks for payment in full, asks you to accept its terms. Death is a riddle, a conundrum, a mystery, a paradox, an enigma, a box within a box. Death is the tunnel at the end of the light. Death is a bridge, as an abridgment, a bridge meant to shorten your span.
listening to On the
Fuck you!
Written, produced, and narrated by Joe Frank. This program was produced in 1991 for the Joe Frank series Work in Progress. For more about Joe Frank and his radio programs, go to joefrank.com.
Hadjesius?
Hadjesius? Hadjesius? Better focus. Nice. Nice.
SpongeBob, what are we doing here?
Well, Squidward, I wanted to show you what a madman looks like, showing you that you're not the only one out there.
How many channel points do you have, Darkest? Because I'm a madman, Darkest. That's why. And that's what stereotypical madmen do. All the channel points.
Yeah!
I have all the channel points.
Yeah.
We have watched Hagesius placing 10.000 dots. But how much more dots will this piece take? And how many days Because before we know it's the year 2069 and we already survived World War III and WW4 and this man is still sitting here doing hit dots on paper.
Next, what's happening? How you doing? Darkest is over here trolling me constantly. There are many more dots to go, Darkest. Many.
Oh no!
Playing some games before bed, nice. Any games in particular? Hearthstone Battlegrounds, maybe some Apex later. Nice. There was a phase where I played a lot of Battlegrounds myself. It's both fun and frustrating. Yeah. A while back. So you drop in, you start collecting stuff, doing all this running around, and then you see one person, or you don't even see the person, and then boom, you're dead. New patch is crazy. How so? I think I was around in the older times when there was just like one, and then maybe I think they added a second map. There was the OG map, what is it, Erangel or something? And then the desert one. So I've been out for quite some time. I don't know. I like the Battle Royale style games. I guess my main issue is that it's hard to get real practice in since you just die so fast most of the time. You discover 2 trinkets at certain rounds, which can make fun synergies. Interesting. I never did win one. I got second a few times, but I didn't get good enough, it seems. And then I could never get into Apex because it was trios. I like rolling solo. I assume it's still trios. I could totally be wrong. Nice music, thanks. It's some long garage mix. It's been pretty nice. Or future garage, whatever that means. Come on, computer. That's what we're listening to, if you're interested. No problem. Excellent, excellent. I need to grab a beverage real quick. have returned with a beer beverage. Ooh, this part of the pieces always takes forever. I'm at the part of the piece where I'll stipple for 4 hours and then take a picture, flip back, and feel like nothing has happened. And you have to flip back and forth between a before and after picture in order to see any of the difference. Oh, why has this zoomed in camera been doing this today? It seems to just really want to be freezing. Just a sec, let me deactivate the source. And fiddle with this thing real quick. Reactivate, engage. There we go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Nine.
Only the sound bites get you coming back in, Darkest.
We are all ball lovers.
Fuck you!
You know you love it, Darkest. You know you love it.
Oh no!
Nine.
This is stippling.
9. I think there's one more stippling now.
It's stippling.
No, that one was not it. Now I'm gonna have to wait 30 seconds because I'm too lazy to flip over to the command section and manually trigger it. Classic. What is I've never heard these words before? And I can't read your chart that has all the information. That would require reading. I'm a doctor, I don't read.
This is stippling.
Excellent! Oh, symmetry. Excellent.
Hegesius?
Thank you for the sub. Thank you for the sub. 4 months. Crazy.
We are all ball lovers.
That is, 4 months is the absolute maximum amount of time you could possibly be a Hegesius sub. Sims OG. They're from day one. Day one.
You are insane.
Yeah, you gotta be a little bit of a crazy person to not just hang out and watch, or at least
we are cursed with what
vaguely
we are doing here.
consume this stream, but to actively be subbed to this stream. It's a whole other ball game. It's a whole new level of psychoses. Whole new level of some sort of mental illness.
Yes.
No, Sim's a tastemaker. He's a tastemaker. Arrow Nico Art. Hello, hello. Welcome in. How are you doing? Welcome to the Hegesius stream, where we're all just a little odd. Of course, one could make a very easy argument that that is almost all of Twitch. Not sure about that after coming from a gaming stream. True. True. But how are you doing? What brings you to this abstract corner of Twitch? Where I slowly test my patience day after day. putting all these little dots on this piece of paper. Oh god damn it, Mike. This zoomed in camera is constantly freezing today. You like the voice? Thank you. It's not for everyone, but some people seem to enjoy it. I always hate listening to my own voice, like on a VOD or something, or a recording. But I feel like that's most people. Do I really sound like that? Just doing art for like a year and 8 months. Nice.
Okay. Just make sure you don't.
You gotta start at some point if you're gonna do it. art is a very long journey. I guess I can only speak for myself, but I feel like often you just never feel totally satisfied. Like there's always, you could have done a little better. But I think that's a good feeling though. Because then if you keep doing it, you're gonna try to be a little better next time. And then slowly, if after you do it over and over and over and over again, you've definitely improved. You look back at old pieces that you liked at the time, and then you're kind of like, oh, I would have done this a lot differently now. Yes, Darkest here. He's
Jesus.
I liked that one. Darkest here is our resident ball lover. But apparently we're all ball lovers. Hey, thanks for the follow.
Yes.
Much appreciated. I forgot that was one of my follow sounds. The beautiful people, the beautiful people. Now I like my little event notifications to have a little bit of randomness in it. You'd never guess, but I kind of like randomness. we go.
Zoom in, zoom out. Come on, man. Keep the camera on one place. You make me feel all wonky and dizzy. Do I need to compare at one of your Arbeitsbärden?
You can't really get that there. Come on, Darkus, you should know better. You should know better. It's the Bundesagentur für Arbeit.
Ja, ja, ja.
Oder die Arbeitsamt. You can report me to the Ausländerbehörde.
Ja, ja.
This guy, he's a fake German. He's coming in, taking your jobs. But not right now at the moment, but...
They took our job!
Das weiß ich auch. I'm just going to respond to you with Ian every time you speak German to me.
We are all ball lovers.
Actually, maybe that should be the darkest soundbite. You just saying Ian. It's the response to all things.
No.
Du hast. Du hast mich. I'm gonna zoom out.
Easiest.
I'm gonna zoom in.
Enhance 5719.
Enhance.
And I just went on my knees.
I can zoom in more. The problem. Oh wait, no, I forgot. I turned that off.
It's effective.
Look closely.
Look more closely. OBS is not behaving today.
Please, God, please just don't let this hurt me.
It does not like my phone camera today. The one that can zoom in super far. Look closely. Whoops, I just noticed my follower goal overlay is incorrect. Refresh. There we go. Now it's correct. Magical. Magical. Wondrous.
That was it. I didn't go on anymore. I didn't go on. I just sat down. And I quietly felt confident that I would be okay.
Maybe I'll give away a test print when I hit 150. Or maybe I should make it 200. Who knows?
I knew you'd come. You and I, neither of us can escape our fate.
glad the camera's not working. The other one. I'll restart this. One sec. Studio mode. Oh, technologies. Killing me. Well, that appears to be a no-go for the rest of the stream. Oh well, we can do without it. One camera is just fine. Where does the Moray effect come in? Around here. It's not as bad as it used to be. It's the problem of doing a lot of tiny dots in grid-like patterns. When you zoom out far enough, the dots become smaller than pixels and you get this weird interference pattern because your monitor cannot represent the information properly. And it's quite unique to each display. You don't usually see it if a phone is being used as a camera because they typically have anti-aliasing filters on the lenses. And this camera is a DSLR with no anti-aliasing filter. So things get a little funky with dots. And when I'm zoomed out, probably looks fine now. Because I'm zoomed in far enough, you can actually see the dots.
zoom, 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 zoom.
Wow.
Look closely.
This lens doesn't like going any closelier.
Look more closely.
That is one single dot.
Nine, 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 nine.
Yeah.
Hagesius.
We are all ball lovers.
We are all ball lovers. That's what Darkus said, people. That's just what he says.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hagesius.
Out of here for a bit at least. All right. No prob. Be well, do whatever it is you gotta be doing. Cheers. Auf Wiedersehen. So formell. So formell. With the Auf Wiedersehen.
Yes.
When I think darkest, I think formalities. Manners. Propriety. Cheerio. Oh, is that the end of the mix? So it appears. What did I want to put on? I'm not entirely sure about what I'm about to hit play on.
Represent. Let's fucking go. DJ Manny. Let's fucking go. Represent.
What the fuck is that? Step on nigga.
Nah, I'm not into it right now. Right, this we can maybe do. I don't like it when there's a hype man. It has the exact opposite effect on me personally. Get unhyped, dehyped. For some reason, listening to all that dubstep and garage, for some reason, made me want to put on some juke slash footwork. I'm not entirely sure why. They're not exactly the same vibe. changed my mind. Come here, kid. Come here. Come on. All right, fine. landscaping. All right, Knicks. Have a good sleep. Thanks for hanging out. My patience will be tested quite a while longer for this piece. Alright, everyone. I'm gonna get out of here. See you next time.